There are various components in an Excel file. The cell is the basic data storage unit in an Excel file. It is identified with a vertical and a horizontal coordinate. The row is a horizontal line of entries, and it is uniquely identified. A column is a vertical line of entries, and it is also uniquely identified. A worksheet is a single spreadsheet that contains cells, and it is organized by rows and columns. A workbook is a collection of worksheets, and it is used for organizing tabular data. In many business scenarios, databases are stored in workbooks, and from there, they can be inputted into data tables and be processed further. UiPath Studio offers two ways of accessing and manipulating workbooks. File access level. In this access method, all workbook activities are executed in the background. This doesn't require Microsoft Excel to be installed, and this method is faster and more reliable for some operations when the user doesn't open the file. File access level only works for .xlsx files. Excel app integration. In this access method, UiPath opens Excel just like a human. It requires Microsoft Excel to be installed. If the file isn't open, it will be opened by UiPath, and it will be saved and closed for each activity. All activities can be set to either be visible to the user or run in the background. It works with multiple types of files, including XLS, XLSM, and it has some specific activities for working with CSV files. Both of these access levels share some common activities, and Excel app integration offers a few more. The activities are discussed in the coming slides. Append range adds the information from a data table to the end of a specified Excel spreadsheet. If the sheet does not exist, it will create it. Get table range locates and extracts the range of an Excel table from a specified spreadsheet using the table name as the input. In addition to these, there are common activities for reading from and writing to a workbook, and these are read cell formula, read column, read range, and read row. Read cell reads the content of a given cell and stores the content as string. Read cell formula reads the formula from a given cell and stores it as a string. Read column reads a column starting with a cell inputted by the user. Read range reads a specified range and stores it in a data table. If user filter is checked in the read range activity under Excel application scope, it will read only the filtered data. This option does not exist for the read range activity under Workbook. Read row reads a row starting with a cell inputted by the user. And here are ways of how to write to a workbook. Write cell writes a value into a specified cell. If the cell contains data, the activity will overwrite it. If the sheet specified doesn't exist, it will be created. Write range writes the data from a data table variable in a spreadsheet starting with the cell indicated in the starting cell field. If the starting cell isn't specified, the data is written starting from the A1 cell. If the sheet does not exist, a new one is created with the sheet name value. All cells within the specified range are overwritten. Now let's watch this demonstrative video on how to print data from a workbook in the output panel using the read range activity.
Hello, and welcome to the step-by-step demo of how to read data from a workbook using the read range activity and print the data in the output panel. For demonstration purposes, we will build a workflow that calculates the year 10 students were born based on their age and then displays the years in the output panel. The first step is to create an initial Excel file for this activity. Open a new Excel file and create a column called Student Age. Enter the age of 10 students. Save and close the file. Now, go to UiPath Studio and search for the Read Range activity and drag and drop this activity into the Designer panel. And enter a name for this activity. Click the ellipses icon and select the Excel file you just created. Remove the default entry in the Range text box. Go to the Properties panel of the Read Range activity, and in the Data Table property, hit Ctrl+K and enter a new variable called Student Age. Now, insert an Add Data column activity below the Read Range activity. And enter a name and annotation for this activity. Go to its Properties panel, and in the Column Name property, enter Year of Birth. And in the Data Table property, enter the variable Student Age. Now, insert a For Each Row activity below the Read Range activity. And enter a name for this activity. In the VB Expression text box, enter Student Age. Drag and drop an Assign activity in the body section of the For Each Row activity. In the first text box, enter Row and in parentheses 1, and in the adjacent text box, enter the expression date.today.year, and in parentheses, enter minus, and in parentheses, C int, in parentheses, row, and then again in parentheses, 0. Drag and drop an Output Data Table activity after the For Each Row activity. And enter a name for this activity. Go to its Properties panel and enter Student Age in the Data Table property. In the Output property, hit Ctrl+K and enter a new variable called Age Output. Now, insert a write-line activity below the Output Data Table activity. Enter Age Output in the text box. Save and run the workflow. Now, go to the Output panel to see the output. You can see that the birth year of each student is listed adjacent to their respective age. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.